Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good? All right. We are going to get going. We have usually a minute or two of just kind of background stuff before we actually start. There were a few folks out in the hall, so I'm going to get going, and they will trickle in as we start. But nothing gets the meeting going on time like starting on time. So as a reminder, our goal here tonight is to get to group decisions as a town informed by both the facts and the opinions of our fellow residents. While there is a formal process that we must follow, one that is guided by law, prior town meeting votes, and tradition, please don't let that process intimidate you. If you want to accomplish something and you aren't sure how, just come down to the mic, wait for your turn at the microphone, and then ask how you accomplish your goal, and we'll do the best to help you get there.
Oh, sorry, Alex.
One of the hardest things about town meeting, though, I'll admit, is the fact that this is a forum for sharing facts and one's views of the motions before us, but it's not a hearing. It's not a listening session or a question and answer session. While it's entirely appropriate for a resident to come to the microphone and point out a lack of information they might have, and even to raise a question about something, there is no obligation, and in fact, there's not really an easy ability to get you that answer. Somebody else may seek the microphone and share information relative to what you're looking to know, but it's not a question and answer period. The assumption is that folks come to town meeting with the facts they need to debate and to make decisions. In reality, that can't always be the case, so we hope that if you're looking for information, others might have that information to share. But again, it's really not a question and answer session. To maintain the style and the procedure that's required to fit into a parliamentary process, because that's really what this is, it's very important that when people rise, they address me, the moderator. It may sound or feel odd to just talk to me when there's a whole group of people around you, but that's the way we do this. You talk to me, that keeps it less personal. There is truly never an occasion where you should be asking a different particular person a question or calling somebody out or talking directly to somebody else in the meeting besides me. That does go a long way. Like I said, it may feel awkward, but it goes a long way to keep it professional and to maintain the decorum that we need. In fact, Town Meeting Times, the manual for moderators across Massachusetts and frankly across New England, has a really clear statement on this. There is never any occasion for one speaker to address another speaker directly. Anyone who wishes to question another should address all questions to the moderator. Like I said, it just keeps it from becoming personal. As a reminder, we can only discuss items tonight that have a motion attached to them. If you wish to debate an issue, to talk about an issue, we make a motion and we put that issue on the floor. And we can only have motions on the floor that are directly related to something that was in the warrant. The warrant is really important. It warns the town what we're going to talk about. It literally warns the townspeople the things we're going to do tonight. So we can't debate things and we can't talk about things that aren't on that warrant because people who might care about that didn't have a chance to come because it wasn't in the warrant. When it comes time to vote, you should all have wristbands. Mine's kind of slid into my sleeve here, but little red wristbands. You should all have a voting placard. When we do a hand vote, just try to use the wrist with the with the wristband on it. If we have to do a ballot vote, that's when we'll use these ballots. Please do save these. You can't get a second one once we check you in and give you one because then we don't know how many are out there. So it's really important that you don't crumple them up, you don't rip them up. If we need to use those, we'll explain how we're going to do it, but please don't lose them. Generally, when we actually are going to vote on something, I'll just ask for a voice vote. If I can figure out the outcome based on a voice vote, we're good to go. If not, I may ask folks to raise their hands and I'll estimate the vote from that. If I can't get a really good, confident verdict out of that estimation, I'll ask the tellers to come in and actually help us with a specific hand count. But generally, we don't have to do a whole lot of hand counts. For any questions of process or procedure, if I need some guidance, again, I'll call on Town Meeting Time to help me out. There's kind of an abbreviated version of those rules in the back of the warrant that you can use. Any questions about any of that tonight? You'll notice the microphones are not down front. We're really trying to improve the experience of folks. The microphones are a little bit farther back. That's to keep them away from the speakers. We have a real problem with feedback. Really big speakers in close proximity to microphones doesn't really work well. So our speakers have been moved back. When you speak, if you would go up to the microphone on either side, they are towards the back of the room. That is a little different, but we're trying to cut down on the feedback so we can leave the microphones up. And please try to It may feel awkward for folks who don't use a microphone often, but you almost have to have the microphone right in front of you. We have really, really good sound systems, but oftentimes folks can't hear, and that's not because the sound system is flawed. It's because we're not always adept. We're not professional public speakers. We need to make sure that we're talking in the microphone when we're talking, especially during when the public is speaking. If there are no questions, I'm actually going to move to the select board for a quick announcement before we start, a quick but important announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I am so pleased tonight to start with this citation for one of our own, Lois Stearns. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to present this to Jack Spanbauer, who's going to speak on behalf of Lois. First of all, there's a letter from Senator Comerford to Lois. Dear Lois, thank you for your more than 32 years of dedicated service on the Northfield Select Board and Northfield Finance Committee. Your dedication and commitment to the town and its residents is widely felt and appreciated by so many in Northfield and beyond. Thank you for your capable and committed leadership and all of the time you've dedicated to excellent public service. I'm proud to represent you in the Senate and present you with a Senate citation. Please feel free to reach out to me or my team if we can ever be of service. Warmest wishes, Joe Comerford. And the official citation, beautifully done, says, be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Lois Stearns in recognition of 32 years of dedicated service to the Northfield Select Board and Finance Committee. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereto transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. So I'm going to come down and give this to Jack Spanbauer, and Jack, who also has dedicated many years of service to the town, is going to speak. Thank you.
Lois, you're anonymous. Lois asked me to accept this award on her behalf, and I couldn't be more honored to do so. No one merits this recognition more than Lois. I worked with Lois in various capacities for over 20 years and saw how much she contributed to our town. Many residents are not aware how diligently she served Northfield, as much of her efforts were out of the limelight. She served over 30 years as a town official, most of that as chair of the Finance Committee. She would put in many hours preparing for each budget meeting. She attended all the school budget meetings. And until recently, she would meet weekly with the town accountant to review all the numbers. For those of us that remember the 90s and early 2000s, we were up against the levy limit every year. Her attention to detail enabled a budget within the levy limit without cutting services during those lean years. One of her lesser-known efforts over the past 30 years was to review and proof all town meeting warrants. She often found things that needed addressing, even things that the town administrator and our town council may have missed. Her efforts were partially responsible for how efficiently our town meetings have been over the last couple decades. She also served on the select board and on many ad hoc committees. Lois loves Northfield, and all these efforts on behalf of us were a labor of love for Lois. Thank you, Lois, and congratulations on this wonderful and highly deserved recognition.
Thank you, Jack, and thank you, B. Lois is definitely a shining star example of civic duty and giving yourself to a town and giving yourself to the public good and really leaning in and doing the hard work that is not necessarily in the limelight but is required to make great towns like this operate. Thank you. Having received a copy of the return warrant and the hour to which the town meeting was called having arrived, the town meeting is now in order. For those who would like, would you join me in rising and saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A little bit, that's all right. Thank you, everybody. Again, any questions before we get going? All right, Article 1, waiving the reading of the warrant.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town waive the reading of the warrant and the notice to the constables and act on the motions of the following articles.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any objection to waiving the reading of the warrant? Seeing none, I'll accept unanimous consent to waive the reading of the warrant. So moved. Article 2, to hear and act upon the reports.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town hear and act upon the reports of the several town officers, boards, committees, and commissions, and trustees.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any objection to unanimous consent to hearing the reports? Seeing none, motion clearly passes. Article 3, on state and federal grants.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to authorize the Select Board to apply for state or federal grants and to expand any monies received as set forth in the appropriate grant application.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any objection to proceeding with unanimous consent on the motion? Seeing none, the motion is passed by unanimous consent. On Article 4, the omnibus budget. This one's you, Bernie.
Okay, thank you. I move the town under the provisions of general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 41, Section 108, and any amendments thereto, fix the salaries of all elected officials for fiscal year 2024, and raise and appropriate the sums therefore, and the sums for the maintenance of the several departments of the town in accordance with the amount recommended by the Finance Committee as shown in the final column of the warrant, as a grand total of the omnibus article of $9,583,573.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any debate on the item? Yes. Yep. The microphones are a little bit farther back this year.
Joe Gravelin, Old Ferry Road, Northfield, Massachusetts. Member of the Northfield Planning Board. I'm seeing in the expense budget here that the year 24 budget will increase by 300% for the Planning Board. And so, Mr. Moderator, I'm voicing my concerns that that's a significant raise, and my experience on the Planning Board has not allowed me to find justification for that. Thank you.
Heather
Yes.
Tower, Main Street. I'm just looking for some clarification. On all the other areas when there are wages, it says that, but under the Health and Human Services, We have a health agent, a regional nurse, animal inspector, council on aging, and soldiers relief. Do those include wages, or are those the wages, or is there something, or is there other things included in that?
Anybody else wish to speak? Yes.
There's one behind you.
The mics are actually towards the back of the room this year. Sorry about that.
Brian Bordner, Ashwillet Road. I'm not really commenting on any specific part of the omnibus budget here. I'm commenting, it's the major portion of what we're voting on tonight, but we're talking about money. And I just want to make a statement of clarity. People going forward can understand what you're really talking about. Fiscal year 2023, $12,246,987. 2,901 people in the town total. For every man, woman, and child, that's $4,221 each, which comes out to be about $350 a month. We're voting on tonight fiscal year 2024, less of a figure, $8,878 for every man, woman, and child, $323 a month. My only comment is I appreciate the work that got the total amount down $1 million, but to the taxpayers, they should know really how to budget this, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about money. So I don't really have a comment on the omnibus. I just wanted to make those stats here for everybody. So after they leave this meeting tonight, they could go and they could think about what their government costs them.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions? Any further speakers wish to speak on the omnibus? Seeing none? All's in favor, please signify by just raising your hand. Any opposed? Please raise your hand. Clearly passes. On Article 5, Emergency Medical Services Enterprise Fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town raise from departmental receipts the sum of $572,371 to operate the Emergency Medical Services Enterprise Fund as set forth in Article 5.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Yes, Mark.
Mark Fortier, 579 Mount River Station Road, and Chief of Emergency Medical Services. So again, presenting a budget this year that does not cost the taxpayers a dollar to operate our 24-hour-a-day paramedic service. We're paying not only for staffing the building that we're renting currently, and we're doing that by servicing not only the citizens of the town of Northfield, but as most people have probably seen, we're servicing other communities as well in order to increase the call volume, to increase the revenue, to continue to be able to bring forward a budget that does not cost the town of Northfield anything.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes. Article 6, ambulance equipment.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to transfer $15,000 from the Emergency Medical Services Enterprise Fund for ambulance equipment.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Yes, Mark.
Mark Fortier, 579 Mount Homer Station Road, Chief of Emergency Medical Services. This article, as most people were aware at last annual town meeting, we voted to take money from excess revenue, which is the surplus money from operations from prior years, and purchase a new ambulance. So we would now have a 2017 ambulance, which the town purchased for us back then, thank you. But the second ambulance that was voted last year was paid for solely through the operation of the organization, so that ambulance is not costing, again, you, the citizens, anything to purchase that ambulance. However, that puts us in a sticky wicket where we now have a potential for a third ambulance, and with the continued expansion of our operation, we have 3 ambulances. It makes no sense for us to get rid of the van ambulance, as we would use it for a mechanical spare in the event that one of our other ambulances needs to go down for maintenance, repair, or, God forbid, an accident. Obviously, our current building is not big enough to house 3 ambulances, so we are actually working with our partners in Irving, who will house that ambulance for us inside Warm, and we plan to outfit the third ambulance at the basic level. In order to do that, we have to purchase the necessary supplies to outfit the third ambulance. This money here would be the money necessary to upgrade that ambulance to the basic level, outfit it at the basic level, and that money would come out of our excess revenue, again, not costing the town anything.
Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously.
Thank you for your support.
Article 7, Sewer Enterprise Fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town raise from departmental receipts the sum of $385,689 to operate the Sewer Enterprise Fund as set forth in Article 7.
Thank you. Thank you. Discussion. Does anybody wish to speak to the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 8, a new water line.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to transfer the sum of $150,000 from the Sewer Enterprise Fund to pay for a new water line to the sewer treatment plant.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the item? Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 9, various revolving funds.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to fix the maximum amount that may be spent during fiscal year 2023 for the revolving funds as set forth in Article 9.
Need to make it 2024.
I'm sorry, I'm going to amend that to, Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to fix the maximum amount that may be spent during fiscal year 2024 for the revolving funds as set forth in Article 9.
Second.
Thank you. The motion has been made and seconded. The first time it was made, there was a scrivener's error. The motion is printed before you, says year 2023. The warrant article, thankfully, says 2024. And there's been a second. Any discussion on the item? Yep, it was a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, would all those in favor please signify by saying aye?
Aye. Aye.
Would all those opposed please signify by saying nay? Clearly passes unanimously. Article 10, winter roads deficit.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town transfer $100,000 from free cash to pay for winter and road deficit expenses.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. Would all opposed please signify by saying nay? Clearly passes unanimously. Article 11, the 350th Anniversary Committee.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to raise transfer from free cash the sum of $11,980 for the 350th Anniversary Committee expenses.
Second.
It's just a transfer, my error. You're not raising it.
The motion was made to raise and transfer. It was said raise, transfer. Those are two different things.
Just transfer.
Unfortunately, since it was made and seconded, is there a motion to amend the motion that's on the floor to just remove the word raise?
Mr. Moderator, I move to amend the prior motion to transfer from, I move the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $11,980 for 350th Anniversary Committee expenses.
Second to that amendment.
Thank you. So a little confusing. The motion that was made the first time was a little off. There's a motion on the floor to just amend that motion to say that the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $11,980 for the 350th Anniversary Committee expense. Any discussion of that amendment to just get rid of the word raise? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Amendment clearly passes. Moving into debate on the main motion. Yes.
Hi, Stacy Bond, 555 Pine Meadow Road. I'm the chair of the Northfield's 350th Anniversary Committee. Our hardworking committee is asking for your vote in the amount of the $11,980 so that we may finalize our planning of this important historical event, which has the main goal of reconnecting Northfield. And how have we reconnected Northfield so far? First, it was a glorious townwide luminaria display. Then we learned changes in Northfield's boundaries over time. Then a day of fun with raptors and music at the elementary school, followed by horse-drawn wagon rides at Northfield Mountain. We have reconnected with some of our past, learning about the Skokie and King Philip's War, local seminary history, and about Abijah Prince. This month is outdoor history on the Millbrook Trail Walk, King Philip's Hill, architectural tours, and history of the Field Library. But wait, there's more. Music events, the Swang Songs Shape Note Concert, chicken barbecue, train stations in Northfield, films and documentaries, local dairy farming, the Dickinson's Library 125th birthday celebration, the real story of the pipeline. Hold on. Thomas Aquinas tours, the Pioneer Valley Full Symphony Orchestra at the golf course, exhibit of local artists, the Chateau Sculpture exhibit and talk, a big golf tournament, memories of song of the American Youth Hostel, a vintage fashion show, our oral history project, history play for Northfield Elementary School students with a local theater group, talk on D.L. Moody, gravestone art and historic symbolism, organ concert, softball game, Renaissance community, Brush Mountain hike, deep breath, dinner dance, parade, fireworks, gingerbread houses, a Christmas carol, and a final luminaria on December 31st to usher out the year in light. Happy birthday, Northfield.
Thank you. We'll all get to vote in a minute and express our support if we so choose. Any further debate on the item? Anybody else wish to speak? Seeing none, all's in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 12, Legal Services for the Appellate Tax Court.
Alice Lord, 496 Millers Falls Road, Northfield, and I'm an assessor. Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $25,000 to cover the costs associated with legal services for appellate tax court.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
We just feel it's necessary to, because there's so many chances of going to the appellate tax court, to have our funding in place so that we can represent the town.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, would all those who are in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 13, a highway department truck.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer from free cash the sum of $60,000 to purchase a highway department truck.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Yes.
Tom Walker, Highway Superintendent, 78 Pearson Road. This is just to make things more economical for us, picking up parts, various things, checking roads on a daily basis that we do with a lot of the bigger trucks nowadays. So we're trying to cut back a little on our fuel costs and stuff.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 14, key card system for the elementary school.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer $25,000 from free cash to pay for the purchase of a key card access system for doors at the Northfield Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 15, for shades at the elementary school.
I move that the town transfer $15,000 from free cash to pay for the purchase and/or repair of blackout roller shades on classroom windows at the Northfield Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 16, bathrooms at the elementary school.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town transfer $83,000 from free cash to pay for the costs of engineering, bidding, renovating, and refurbishing the existing bathrooms in the south building of the Northfield Elementary School and any costs associated therewith.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 17, special legislation regarding the fire chief.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town grant the Select Board the right to petition the General Court for special legislation to allow Floyd Donnell III to serve as fire chief until December 31st, 2026, age 73 and 4 months, or until the date of his retirement or non-reappointment, whichever occurs first, provided, however, that he is mentally and physically capable of performing the duties of his office, provided further that the town will, at its own expense, require that Chief Donnell be examined by an impartial physician designated by the town to determine such capability, and provided further that no deductions from the regular compensation of Floyd Donnell III shall be made under Chapter 32 of the General Laws for retirement or pension purposes, provided, however, that the General Court may make clerical and editorial changes of form only to the bill unless the Select Board approves such amendments to the bill prior to enactment by the General Court, and to authorize the Select Board to approve such amendments which shall be within the scope of the general public objectives of the petition.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Yes, Chief.
Good evening. I respectfully request you consider approving this petition. Petition was requested by myself. Basically, I need a supportive vote tonight from the townspeople to have the Select Board request this petition to go forward. And I have 3 reasons that I would like to continue as your chief for a little while longer. The first is, obviously, We had the vote at the special town meeting, and the majority voted for the new facility. Obviously, it didn't pass the 2/3 vote that was needed. So the fire department is still in dire need of some upgrades to our facility. That's reason number one. Reason number two is I'd like to spend the next 2 years working with the members of the fire department and the officers of the fire department in working with my replacement as the leader of the fire department. And the third thing is personal. I became chief in 1976. In 2026, I will have served you folks, the town of Northfield, as the fire chief for 50 years. So those are the three reasons.
I know we all want to show support, folks, but
Those are the three reasons that I request your support. Thank you.
thank you. Is there further discussion on the item? Seeing none? All's in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 18 on the OPEB Trust Fund.
I move the town transfer from free cash the sum of $75,000 to deposit into the town's OPEB Trust Fund.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? All's in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 19, Opioid Settlement Stabilization Fund.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town, pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, to create a new special purpose stabilization fund to be known as the Opioid Settlement Stabilization Fund, which may be expended for all of the purposes allowed by law, including those outlined in applicable opioid litigation settlement documents, a document prepared by the Substance Abuse Bureau of the Commonwealth's Office of Health and Human Services Department, found at www.mass.gov/doc/Massachusetts Abatement Terms/download, entitled Abatement Strategies, in quotation, and consistent with any state guidelines or regulations further clarifying allowable uses of opioid litigation settlement funds, and further, to adopt the last paragraph of said Section 5B and dedicate to such fund without further appropriation 100% of the opioid litigation settlement funds received by the town, and further to transfer from available funds a sum of money equal to that received or to be received by the town from opioid litigation settlements resulting from the town's participation in the national opioid multi-district litigation into said opioid settlement stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Would all opposed please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 20, Council on Aging Bylaws.
Hi, Deb Lanu, 18 Maple Street. I'm the chair of the Council on Aging. I move that the town vote to adopt the Council on Aging bylaws as set forth in the final draft dated February 21st, 2023.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item.
Just to let people know that despite looking everywhere, we couldn't find an official document that were bylaws. We had some policies, but not bylaws. And so a great deal of work went into making sure we had something official that we could bring to you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the item? As a point of clarification, when things like this are put in the warrant that refer to another document, those have to be in the town clerk's office when the warrant is issued and when the select board signs it. And so documents like that are always available for inspection of the public to see those additional items, even though they're not necessarily printed right here in the warrant. They are available for folks, and they have been for a period of time. So, any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, would all those in favor please signify by saying aye. Aye. Would all those opposed please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously.
May I say one more thing?
We just ended the vote on that one, so
It's not about a
unfortunately.
vote. If I can't, that's
There
fine.
needs to be a motion on the floor to say something.
Not a
so-
problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Article 21, proposed floodplain overlay district bylaw.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to adopt the proposed floodplain overlay district bylaw dated April 12, 2023, as available in the town clerk's office to replace the current section 10.1 floodplain overlay district in the town of Northfield zoning bylaws.
Second.
Thank you. Is there discussion on the item? Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 22, Community Preservation Committee bylaw.
Lara Dubin, 79 Maple Street, Chair of the Community Preservation Committee. I move that the town edit and amend the Northfield Community Preservation Committee bylaw passed at annual town meeting March 2nd, 2009, Article 15, as stipulated above in this warrant.
Second.
Is there discussion on the item?
So this is just updating the wording of the Community Preservation Committee's bylaws to allow the Council on Aging to choose and appoint their representative to the CPC. This would correct the bylaw and the laws. The town does not have a housing authority, and to align it with the current practice of appointing a Council on Aging representative to the Community Preservation Committee.
Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none? Would all those in favor please signify by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 23, Community Preservation Fund.
Lara Dubin, 79 Maple Street. I move the town reserve from the fiscal year 2022 Community Preservation Fund the following estimated amounts to be set aside from estimated annual revenue. The sum of 5%, $1,400 for administrative expenses, 10%, $2,800 for open space purposes, 10%, $2,800 for historic preservation, 10%, $2,800 for affordable housing, and the remaining 65%, $18,200 to the fiscal year 2023 Community Preservation Fund budgeted reserve.
Second. Wait.
Thank you.
It's 2024.
Any discussion?
It's 2024. That's why I wanted to kill it.
Motion's going to have to be amended.
I wanted to do it before she seconded it.
Yeah, I believe as written it is correct, but you're correct, the way the motion was written out to be read is incorrect.
It's correct in the article.
So is there the motion was made and seconded, unfortunately. Is there a motion to amend the motion as stated to change the FY22 to?
I move that we amend the motion, Article number 23.
Motion.
The motion.
To do
From 23 to 24. Sorry, Lara.
from 22 to 24?
There's
From
actually
23 to 24.
I'm sorry,
From
there's
2023 to 2024.
There are two dates that need to be corrected. The first one, which is, it's right in the motion to be read, it says fiscal year 2022, and that should actually say fiscal year 2024. And then in the last sentence where it says fiscal year 2023, that needs to also be changed to fiscal year 2024.
Would you like to say, and I make a motion to do that?
I would like to make a motion to correct the Article 23 to be fiscal year 2024 Community Preservation Fund, and then also the last sentence to correct the remaining 65% to the fiscal year 2024 Community Preservation Fund.
So the motion is to change to amend the motion so that each of the fiscal year references in the motion are for FY 2024. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? We're just voting on the motion to amend this to update it to FY 2024 in both of the references. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. The amendment passes. Entering into debate on the item itself. Any discussion on the item itself? Seeing none? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 24, Article 24.
Lara Dubin, 79 Maple Street. I move that the town appropriate the sum of $2,000 from the Community Preservation Fund balance for open space recreation and $825 from the Community Preservation Fund for undesignated funds for a total of $2,825 to go towards the purchase of a recreational storage shed and propane grill for the Northfield Senior Center.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Yes, we have some discussion.
Hello, Bob Henry, 137 Wanamaker Road. I had the distinct honor of serving with Laura in the past, so they've done a great job. I'd just like to clarify this because I ran into it once with containers in storage sheds. Believe it or not, like shipping containers, 99% of those come from overseas. And believe it or not, if you even put in your contract new and you get a large shipping container used for storage, 99% of those come used because when they ship them over here, they ship them full of goods in seawater coming across on ships and boats. So I just asked, I don't know if we need a motion to amend, but I asked Laura and whoever writes the contract to make sure we put the key word new container, new shed, new grill. Do I need to make a motion or can I just ask for that so we know where our tax dollars are going?
I would like to say that in the proposal that was submitted to the CPC, the request wasn't for a steel container shed. It was for an actual built shed that was going to be attached to an already existing building. So I believe that will answer that question. We did not specify new, but all the information that was put in front of us by the Council on Aging did signify or did indicate that the grill was going to be newly purchased.
Any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All's opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 25, signage.
Lara Dubin, 79 Maple Street. I move the town appropriate the sum of $2,000 from the Community Preservation Fund balance for historical preservation and/or the undesignated fund balance to replace the signage on the Northfield Farms Field Library building.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none, what all's in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All's opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 26, historic outside fireplace.
Lara Dubin, 79 Maple Street. I move the town vote to appropriate the sum of $3,000 from the Community Preservation Fund balance for historical preservation and/or the undesignated fund balance to repair the historic outside fireplace located at 88 Main Street.
Is there a second? Thank you. Discussion on the item. Seeing none, what all's in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All's opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. Article 27.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town adopt the resolution outlined in Appendix 2 of the town meeting warrant document. The resolution.
Can we just get a second real quick?
Oh.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
I would just like to thank each and every one of these people who are listed on page 30. And I'm going to go through the list. The 350th Anniversary Committee, Carol O'Brien, Sue Ross, and Brian Brault. The Ad Hoc Water Supply Committee, Phil Baker, Sue Kaczynski, Beth Walker, and Tony Stavely. Agricultural Commission, Stacy Bond. American Rescue and Recovery Plan, Brian Brault. Board of Health, Dan Gray and Phil Baker. Business Park Committee, Barry Bordner, Jack Spanbauer, Steve Saradinsky, John McDougall, and Sean Foster. Committee Preservation, Carol Pike. Constable, David Brassor, Fred Fuller, and James O'Shea. Council on Aging, Howard Hastings, Virginia Hastings, and Carol Pike. Cultural Council, Mary Mayshark-Stavely, and Jennifer Goslin. Election officer, yours truly, Gail Stone, David Stone, Jerry Scott, Diane Fuller, Barbara Lemoyne, Melissa Morgan Oakes, Deb Potee, and Jesse Wiggin. Emergency Services Facility Committee, David Quinn Jr., Kevin Connolly, and Alex Parashkoff. Energy Committee, Alex Strisky. Finance Committee, Lois Stearns and Jack Spanbauer. Highway Department, Josh Neal, Josh Boniotto, Ryan O'Connell, and Matt Orrell. Open Space Committee, Jerry Wagner and Jennifer Tufts. Pioneer Valley Regional School Committee, Julie Burke and Stephanie Winslow. Recreation Commission, Joe Stacy, Ed Bassett, and Stacy Bond. Zoning Board of Appeals, Tim Rogers. Thanks to all.
Any discussion on the item? Seeing none, all's in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, please signify by saying nay. Clearly passes unanimously. The warrant being completed, the town meeting is hereby dissolved. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a safe drive home.
Thank you.